Enes showed you the finished masterpiece. He showed you the beauty, the views, and the features. But what he didn't show you was the labor, the sweat, the struggle, the millions of details, hours, and choices it took to bring this fortress to life. That's what we're talking about today. Not just what Simka is, but what it took to make it real. First, let's discuss the pool. Most people see a pool and think it's just water contained in a rectangle. But the pool at Simka is a monument in itself. It took 3 years and 8 separate monumental pours of concrete to complete. Each one had to cure, settle, and be tested before the next could happen. One mistake would have meant tearing it out and starting again. And beneath it all are over 30 massive caissons drilled deep into the earth. With them, the pool is immovable. And then there's a centerpiece, a 6,000-pound acrylic window, a single transparent wall holding back tons of water while opening a view to the basement gym and giving it plenty of natural light. Installing it was an engineering challenge. One slip, one miscalculation, and you're dealing with a catastrophe. This pool isn't just one level. It flows across 7 different elevations, from the round jacuzzi to the sunken lounge to the swim-up bar. Each section had to be coordinated with plumbing, waterproofing, stonework, and structure. The round jacuzzi and the curved walls of the lounge weren't just built, they were sculpted. The stone had to be specially cut and curved to match the walls, custom fabrication on a massive scale. And then the stone itself. Every piece vein matched so that the patterns of the rock run seamlessly across the surfaces. That alone meant months of sorting, cutting, and adjusting stone slabs, each weighing hundreds of pounds. Even the retaining wall that holds the hillside behind the pool wasn't left as raw concrete. It was clad in book-matched stone, turning what should have been a purely structural necessity into an art piece that blends into the pool design itself. This isn't just a pool, it's a world-class piece of architecture and engineering, one that could stand on its own as a landmark. But here, it's just a feature of a much larger vision. Then there's the exterior cladding. On the upper floors, the walls are sheathed in shou wood. Large Japanese pine milled, treated, and finished in a scalloped design. Each piece inlaid with blackened stainless steel strips, creating contrast and rhythm. The wood is treated through the ancient shou heating process, which shars the surface. This not only deepens the aesthetic, black, rich, and textured, but also makes the wood fire resistant, a necessity in Malibu. But here's the thing, this cladding is purely aesthetic. Behind it are 12-inch concrete walls and a 20-inch concrete roof. The structure doesn't need wood. The fortress is already unshakable. But design isn't just about survival. It's about soul. The cladding softens the concrete, gives texture, depth, and a uniquely Japanese-inspired elegance. And it wasn't easy. Each scallop panel had to be milled perfectly. Each stainless steel inlay fitted by hand. This wasn't factory work. This was artistry. Even the soffits beneath the overhangs were crafted from bent wood, steamed in a box to curve smoothly. You try bending wood at scale, it doesn't want to do it. It resists. But with enough patience, heat, and skill, you can persuade it. That's what this installation required. Steam, time, and human hands guiding every curve, a one-off creation that will never be duplicated exactly the same again. That's what separates Simka. Concrete for strength, wood for beauty, both together, not competing but complementing, permanence and poetry on the same wall. But let's talk about the real story, the labor. Simka demanded over 1 million hours of human effort. Think about that. 1 million hours of men and women Cutting, lifting, hammering, pouring, finishing. That's not just a number, that's a lifetime of labor condensed into one project. This wasn't fast work, it wasn't cheap work, it was work that took skill, patience, and commitment. Work that tested people's bodies, their minds, their limits. Concrete had to be poured through the night. Stone had to be set in the summer heat. Wood had to be steamed and bent by hand, one piece at a time. Some days it felt endless. Some days it felt impossible. But little by little it took shape. And here's the truth. Without those artisans, without the people who carried the vision with me, Simka wouldn't exist. It wasn't just my creation, it was theirs too. This fortress stands on their backs, their sweat, and their hands. Everyone builds with different ideologies. Some value speed, some value profit, some value trend. For me, every choice came back to permanence. To build something that wasn't just for me, but for the generations that will walk these halls long after I'm gone. That's why I chose to build using the best. Super reinforced concrete. That's why I chose vein matched stone for the pool, even though it was difficult and expensive. That's why I chose one-of-a-kind cladding, even though I could have ordered it from a catalogue. Because permanence is worth the struggle. Beauty is worth the patience. Craft is worth the sacrifice. So yes, this home demanded over 1 million hours, but none of them were wasted. And to every man and woman who poured those hours into Simka, I owe you more than thanks. I owe you this creation, this living work of art we built together. This is what Enes couldn't show you. The labor, the sacrifice, the choices behind every wall, every finish, every detail. Simka wasn't easy, it wasn't fast, it wasn't simple, but it was worth it. Because a fortress isn't judged by how it looks when it's finished. A fortress is judged by whether it still stands when everything else has fallen. I am Chris Halliday, God's architect, and this is what it means to build. And if you want to join me on my journey, subscribe, because this is only the beginning.